With iOS 5 around the corner, it seems like Apple has tied up all the loose ends in its revolutionary software and is delivering everything its customers have wished for. Well, almost everything. If you're one who enjoys listening to your weekly podcasts, you know something the iPhone's native functions have left out. Podcast subscription control on your mobile device. Sure, your iPod app has a podcast tab and the iTunes app lets you download them one by one, but in order to get your subscriptions updated, you'll need to sync to your computer. Well, there's no need to get too frustrated about this situation because Jamiwakinwa Enterprises have solved it with Downcast. Downcast is a podcast management app that lets you subscribe to your favorite audio and video podcasts on the go. But what makes it so great? Its ease of use and its array of controls over your content, not to mention wrapping it all up in an attractive user interface. In order to add a podcast, simply tap the Add Podcast tab at the bottom and you'll see options to add an RSS feed manually. But if you don't know the address of a certain podcast, you can search for it or browse the top categories. Now, by the way, this is a great way to discover new podcasts. Now, once you've found one, you can view its feed before you subscribe. Why would you want to do that? This gives you the chance to see if a podcast is still active and what sort of topics they cover. Once subscribed, you'll see the latest episode downloading in the background. If you want to catch some episodes older than that, you can browse them and download them anytime from within the podcast's main episodes list. If you don't want an episode anymore, just swipe to delete it. You can also swipe to unsubscribe on the top level list view. Over in the More tab, you'll find your Settings menu. Here you can globally control how often you want Downcast to search for new apps, how many new episodes to download, and how many to keep once they've been played. There are also settings for the player, which we'll show you in a moment. Now, these are the global settings, but each podcast subscription can have its own unique rules as well. Going back to the More tab, you'll see some rather useful information. Listed here at the bottom are the amount of storage space Downcast is using and how much space is free on your device. Going into the Tools menu, you'll be able to export your feeds for backup. Now let's take a look at the actual podcast player. Along the bottom, you'll find typical play, pause, and skip controls along with continuous replay, play speed, and sleep timer buttons. You'll also see when that episode was published and which playlist it's in. In the center, Downcast not only shows your album art, but also individual chapter art. If an episode has chapters, a button will show to access them. Under the album art is the episode summary, and there's even a share button to send an episode link to Twitter, Facebook, email, or by other means. Across the top of the screen are the skip interval buttons, which come in handy when you don't want to search via the slider. Now, if you're like me, you like to listen to your podcast while driving, but you don't want to take your eyes off the road to control things. Well, Downcast has an awesome gesture feature, with which you can fast forward, reverse, skip episodes, and play pause with simple taps and swipes. Overall, we're in love with Downcast. It grants users all the podcast control they're missing on their iOS devices. What's more, Downcast is a universal app, meaning it displays beautifully on your iPhone and iPad with only one purchase. We give Downcast our 5-star App Chasers rating.